We've got some huge things happening this month. We're calling this whole thing going on Igniting Faith. The 23rd, well, that's the official start of the church. And on that day, we're making a huge change in our parish because Bishop Kettler is coming, and he's actually going to recommission, or in a sense, decommission the South Church, because we are selling the church. So we want the whole idea of recognizing is, what does God have in store for us? This all seems like it's sudden, and it is, although we've been trying to sell these churches for, 5-6 years. We finally have a wonderful buyer. We can't tell you yet who it is just because of legal stuff, but as soon as we can, we will. But you will be very happy about who the buyer is. Now, I recognize this is overwhelming in a lot of ways, but it's an exciting time to be here in this parish. Exciting time to be a person of faith. We lowered the price of South, and all of a sudden we got a lot of interest. They call it the sweet spot. So we're hoping the same thing happens to North, because we've lowered the price of North. This is all with the approval of the bishop and the Diocesan Finance Council. So hopefully with that lowered price of North, we'll get some inquiries. We've had people look at North and they said, no, not interested, it's too much. So we're hoping things happen. What happens if we sell North? People ask. Bishop has said, go for it, sell it. Meet in a gym. Maybe we could rent out Shopco building for a while. He said that's the best way to get people excited when you don't have a church to be in. So he said, yes, if it comes up, sell it. So we're excited about that. Okay, questions you might have. I got lots of stuff for you. Questions? Should I just keep talking? Well, so a couple of things. We contacted Red Lake to see if they're interested in the pews. You know, their church burnt down. They are not interested in the pews because they use chairs. And the pews at South, they're not really sellable because there's no backing. It's just on top, it's not on the lower back. So there's some places that may not want it. So we're leading to the fact of just repurposing all that wood. That's really good wood. Whether we use it like as flooring for the sanctuary area, that's in the second phase, or we use it as part of pillars or doors, so we want to hang on to that. But we are going to take orders if people do want to buy a section of pew. You saw the one out there that we did, we just cut it up type of thing. So a lot of people say, I would like that at home, we can buy a whole pew. And then also cutting it up for our crosses, which is good. We have this group right there that are working on that. The stained glass, Father Jerry from Red Lake is coming tomorrow to look at it. Perhaps they would use the stained glass in their church. So they're interested, so we'll see what happens there. We still want to hang on to some of it. Like if you remember with the new building, we're going to do the social hall first. And then we're going to build the big church area, the worship area. The reason we determined that is because most of the cost is in infrastructure. It's the road, it's electricity, it's the sewer, all of that. So if we put all that in, how much money do we have left over? Well, we can't build the church we want to do, but we can build a social hall, which is like flat floor, flat roof. In the social hall, we've got a lot of needs, like we can use stained glass from both buildings, like on the side there. The frescoes that are at South, remember on the side there? They'll fit really nicely like in the gathering place of the social hall up on top. The stations of the cross, if you look at them, it looks like they're a 1/4 inch thick. They're granite. Well, they determined they're not. They're actually like about 3 inches thick. They're actually embedded into the block. So we thought what we hope to do is to cut them out, put them outside on the new land, and make a walking stations. That'd be nice. So people go out there to use stations, you kind of walk up there. We're setting up a little park on the further end, a little sitting area. There's a campfire area down there, so to really get people to use it. We're going to move the piano from South. We'll put it in the chapel. The speakers and all this stuff, we can repurpose all that kind of stuff. What else? Okay, other questions? Does that spur anything? We will be doing a capital campaign again. You're going to hear more about that. That's going to start in the fall. Just because we had 248 families. They took packets the first campaign, and they never pledged at all. And some of them, we did a survey, and they just said, well, I'm not really sure if this is going to happen. Well, now we can say, this is happening. This is going to go. So we want to do a whole new campaign for those people, but for everybody, to say, what can we do to invest in the future of our church? Did you see the Star News or the Princeton paper? They talked about Sherburne County is one of the big growing counties. Did you see that just recently? That a lot of people are moving to Sherburne County. So, idea of this church is really to think ahead. Both buildings, north and south here, need a lot of work as far as improvements. So instead of us spending the money to do those, let's spend that same money for this new building, thinking of the future. And like the third phase of our new church would be a gymnasium and big classrooms. And hopefully someday, I would love this, if we could build like a senior center out there. People keep talking about making a school, and we're like, yeah, let's think big. We want to do maybe some soccer fields out there or some softball fields. It's like, let's think big about really making that kind of a real center for people in the area. More questions? Yeah.
Is the new facility going to have enough room to hold liturgies in, or will it be somewhere else including the church?
It will be big enough. The question was, when we build this social hall, can we have liturgies like for Christmas and stuff? So right now, and we'll if you online, the pictures are there online of the social hall options. So you go online and see it. But right now, the church or the regular gathering place will hold like about 400 people, and then there's a gathering place before that which will hold something for like another. I think it's another 400 people, something like that. Don, remember? So for the overflow type of thing. So, and the walls between them will be these kind of collapsible walls, so be able to see one big thing. So they can do also many things. We'll probably have a screen, like to see all the music and readings and stuff like that. So we'll use that. I got some great ideas for homilies. If we can't give me a screen, I'm like, all right, I can do stuff with that. Other questions?
When's the excavating to start the driveway?
Great question. So he said, when's the excavating going to come for the driveway? We have bids out there right now. So as soon as we agree on a contractor, that we'll go with that. So we had, even before the sale of South, we determined that we want to put the road in, to get onto the land. If you go out there now and you see our big sign, future home of, that's where the road is going to be. And so what they have to do a turn lane and a bypass lane and a culvert, and they want to make the road suitable for like all the construction vehicles or fire engines. So we're just going to do it right away, as opposed to, we got to upgrade it. So that's exciting. That should hopefully this summer. As soon as the bids come, we'll start doing it. Eileen has a question. So I talked about that Saturday that we're having Adoration Day. So would any of you, if you would like to sign up for a time slot, see Eileen right after this. So right now we have it slated for like noon to 4 on the Saturday. That's the 22nd, right? But we'll open it earlier, like even 7 in the morning or even the night before if we get enough people. For adoration, you need someone sitting in the church all the time to kind of be there. So I don't know if any of you right now want to volunteer or want to talk. That would be great. But talk to Eileen right after. Now the Quilters and Crafters, they have a room at South. They're going to have a room here. I think, it's pretty exciting, really. When you think of it as like, what congregation gets to build a church? And it's like, wow. We hope then in the new facility to be using like stained glass from both places. Perhaps wood from here, although who knows who's going to buy this church. If they want the pews, then we'll keep the pews. That kind of stuff. So we want to use both, but we also want to incorporate new things too. I don't know what I was going to tell you. The altar at South, it's granite. It's heavy. It's waterproof. The plan is we're going to move that, pick it up, and we're going to put it out here on the edge of the parking lot. So for our summer masses, we're going to build like a cement slab, put the altar there, and also the podium, so it can weather the storm. And then eventually to move both of those again out to the new land. Once it gets developed and landscaped, we'll figure out where we're going to do outdoor masses there. So those will be pretty nice, but they're big. They're big. They're heavy. What else is at South? What am I else missing? Jenny here. Yeah.
Lights.
Oh, the lights, yeah. So, the lights that are hanging down, we just bought those, 10 years ago or something? We're going to use those in the social hall, in that whole area. They'll use nicely there. Your question?
Do you have any projected dates for completion of the first department?
So, let's say the road gets in this summer. The question was, do you have projected dates? The road gets in this summer. We do this campaign in the fall, hint, hint. We get the pledges. Ideally, we could start next summer because we have enough pledges. The bishop is saying, go for it, whatever you want to do. And it's that whole idea of like, how much are people going to pledge? And do we take a loan? Do we not? That kind of thing. But it's pretty exciting. And then the bishop has also said, he said, well, because I told him, I want to stay here a long time. I love this parish. And he's like, yeah, you can stay to finish this. So we don't want to do it too soon. Like, we don't want to let's kind of slow down the construction. No, so I'm hoping to be here for the completion of the whole project. And we're getting a new bishop in. Our bishop is retired. He's still there because they haven't replaced him yet. Because there's other openings. And I got to tell you this too. There's a new bishop in Duluth, Dan Felton. He's actually a buddy of mine. We went to school together. That is just so cool. I'm going to go up there for the ordination, but I can't wait to sit down with him after a couple of years. He's just an incredible, incredible man. He's a good vision of church, and to think that he's going to be a bishop he's from Green Bay. He's a Packer fan. That's okay. But he's going to be in Minnesota as one of our bishops. It's just so encouraging. Pope Francis is ordaining very pastoral people. Like he wants people who have been in a parish for years and years now to be bishops. Where previous popes they've ordained people who've been in offices, or they've led tribunals, or they've worked in seminaries. Good people, but they haven't had a lot of pastoral work. They haven't dealt with normal folks. So Francis has changed all that. He's really made it to be like, okay, I want guys who've been in the trenches. And then now you're going to be a bishop, so it's exciting. What else? Yeah.
So, do you have it in writing with the new bishop that you can stay?
I don't, because she asked, do I have it in writing with the new bishop that I can stay? Well, I'm hoping we have 3,500 people that will write the bishop to say, no, keep him. No, but this bishop said, you can stay, Kevin, but when we get a new one. But I think they would be crazy to move me because you're in the middle of a project, middle of fundraising. It's pretty hard for someone to come in. So I think it's pretty for sure. I'm hoping there. Other questions? We're going to send you off. This is good stuff, but I know like the Knights of Columbus, they'll do their fish fries here at North until we get going. They have trailers, movable. The Quilters and Crafters will just come here at North. We'll figure things out. It'll be bumpy a while, but that's good. That's kind of how the early church worked. It was bumpy for a while, and you just made do and trust the Spirit, which is good.
Do you have a closing date for South?
Well, what happens? Do we have a closing date for South? We have we got earnest money, and we have, what's it called, the paperwork, what's it called, tell me this.
Promissory note?
Yeah, what's it called, paper.
Purchase agreement?
Purchase agreement, thank you, there it is. So we have signed a purchase agreement. That was in, March, and so it's 60 days of due diligence, and the due diligence time ends at Pentecost. So that's why we picked that date. And so what they got to do is they got to get their permits, they got to go talk to the city, they got to get this and that type of thing. And so if all of that goes through, which should be no problem, then I think it's just like maybe a month later that we actually hand over the key, and then we're done there. So that's why if we have the closing on Pentecost, then we have time to take out the pews, take out the stained glass, the stations, and things like that. We're going to need a couple weeks for that. So with that, then we'll have all the masses here at North. But one of the ideas is that Friday, we're going to have masses out at the new land, at my driveway. So it'll be outside. So those of you who just it's a good excuse to have mass up there. So, all right. Thank you all for staying.